Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your June 2026 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as over here in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Taurus is the first house, all the way through to Aries representing the 12th. When we get through that, we'll also pull an oracle card for some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the UFO Tarot. For the Oracle deck, we'll be using the Wisdom of the Oracle. And we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Mars. Actually, it makes a lot of sense to see this come up because you guys currently have Mars in your sign. It's pretty much going to be in your sign until the 28th of June. So definitely makes sense to see that. All right, we have Virgo. So for you guys, Virgo is your fifth house of romance, creativity, children. Astrologically speaking, we do have the South Node wrapping up its transit through there. It should be moving out of there toward the end of July. And speaking of fifth house, we see this here as well. So yeah, this two indicators here that you could have a lot of focus on your fifth house, which in general points to romance, creativity, and children. But we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. So for the first house, like we mentioned, for one, you have Mars in your sign, but on top of that, we actually have the card for your first house energy being the Emperor. So Mars is the ruler of Aries, and then we see the major arcana for Aries in the first house for you guys too. So yeah, this could just be saying that, at least in part due to having the ruler of Aries in your first house this month, could just be saying that maybe you're a little bit more proactive this month, taking a lot more action maybe than usual, right? But I feel like this is saying that you're pretty driven this month and pushing forward towards a goal that you have, maybe multiple goals. For your second house of possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the Four of Swords. So yeah, so I feel like this is saying that maybe you're being a bit more reserved and withdrawn around that area of life, right? So for example, maybe if there are people proposing ideas to you around maybe ways to invest your finances and you feel like, that's not really sitting right with you, right? Because maybe you feel like you don't know enough about what they're referring to, or at the very least it just doesn't sound stable enough to you. You might be withdrawing from stuff like that at this time. So I feel like it's not necessarily a negative. It's just one of those things where you're just, unless you feel fully comfortable and ready to go all in with something financially, it seems like you're being a little bit more withdrawn about that this month. For your third house of communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have the Devil. So this is Capricorn energy here, and to see this energy come up, it does make me think of the fact that your third house is Cancer, and actually as we get toward the end of June, there will be a Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So this could just be pointing to an energy of, quite simply, maybe just people from your life that you still have karmic ties to might be coming back around during that retrograde for those ties to maybe be wrapped up and resolved, right? So it could be in a positive sense, could even be as simple as closure, right? If you don't physically interact with the people again, or for some of you could be getting things back on track, or of course the last option would be finally just realizing that, yeah, it's just not a good fit and moving on altogether. But at the very least, I feel like this is saying that those ties will be coming back around this month. And given that the Mercury retrograde really starts on the 29th of June. It might be closer to the end of June when you start to see that, but I feel like the momentum will build throughout the month. All right, so for your fourth house energy of home, roots, and family, we have the Two of Swords. So yeah, so you might feel a little bit, unnerved around your home environment this month. Maybe again because it could just be as simple as having that Mars energy in your sign, like we talked about. Could just be one of those things where when you are maybe in your home environment, you just get a little fidgety, right? You feel like a little bit too restrained, restricted in your home environment. You're like, all right, I need to get out and do something. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative, even though the artwork looks a little dramatic in this deck, right? So, like we said, we had two of the dice indicating fifth house would be important for you guys this month. And as far as the card we have there, we have the Seven of Wands. So this is really a Leo energy. And to see this come up could just be saying that, yeah, maybe you're being a little bit protective around that area of life, right? So maybe you have a creative project, for example, that you're working on, but maybe you're not ready to reveal it just yet, right? So, because if we look at this, it looks like they're planting things, right? Knowing that, okay, you're not going to see the immediate results of it, but at the same time, you're putting in the work, right? You're investing your time and energy into doing this with the thought that, yes, down the line it will actually bear fruit. So, that could be what you guys are focused on there, and same with your romance, right? If this is more of a romantic situation, same concept, right? Where you're just saying, okay, I might not get instant gratification in the dynamic, but I'm going to actually work toward building something. All right, so for your sixth house energy of health, work, and daily routines, we have the strength card. So more Leo energy here, and to see this could just be saying that maybe you're drawing boundaries when it comes to your work, right? So like we said, on the one hand, you might have a lot of energy with Mars moving through your sign, but at the same time, this could also be saying that you might also still be able to balance that out of knowing when to say when, right? Where even if you feel your ego getting into play, telling you, oh, yeah, you could totally push through, it's fine, just keep going, right? But this is saying you will find a way to say, okay, yes, I'm going to get a lot of stuff done, but within reason. All right, so for your seventh house energy of partnerships, contracts, and relationships, we have the Three of Pentacles. So Capricorn energy here, and in this context, it could just be saying that again, there seems to be more of a focus and movement toward long-standing stability. So maybe this is you collaborating with someone, if there is a partnership, right? Where even if you feel like you don't see eye to eye all the time, you have different approaches to things. I feel like this is saying you're gonna put in the work and dedication to at least get on the same page in some way, right? So um, that's what I see with that. For others of you, could just be saying that, yeah, maybe you're partnering up with someone who normally you wouldn't have, but you see that you each bring something unique to the table that could be helpful to the other. All right, so for your eighth house energy, which covers death, rebirth, intimacy, investments, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So technically Taurus energy here, but technically Capricorn energy, but given that you guys are also Earth energy, you could just be saying that you too could be embodying this energy. And I feel like this is, again, going back to what I was saying, right? With uh, when it comes to finances, you might be a little bit more reserved, right? Like, okay, if I feel like I'm not fully comfortable with something, I'm not really going to dive in on something. I feel like this is just saying that you're looking for something that's more stable in the long term versus instant gratification kinds of things, right? Or get rich quick type schemes. So that could be where you're focused there. All right, so for your ninth house, which points to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have the Seven of Swords. So yeah, so this could just be saying that you might come across some new information this month, but I feel like this is saying you might also want to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because it's like, okay, are there ulterior motives behind why the information is being revealed to you, right? It's just one of those things where, again, I feel like you will have the discernment already there, so it doesn't even feel like it's forewarning you of something, but just more pointing out the dynamic that you'll be experiencing. For your 10th house energy, which in general points to career and social status, we have the Knight of Wands. This is a Sagittarius energy here. And yeah, so I feel like this could just be pointing to you maybe being a little bit more exploratory when it comes to your career, right? Maybe taking slightly different approaches than normal, at least being a little bit more adventurous when it comes to how you approach your work lives, and maybe just having a little bit of fun with it in that regard, too. right, so for your 11th house, which points to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, we have the Page of Cups. So again, this could just be saying that you might be crossing paths with some new people this month, building connections from scratch, but I feel like there will be a nice, easy flowing energy between you and other people this month as well. And for your 12th house energy, which points to blind spots, mental health, and spirituality, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here. So yeah, so this could kind of be going back to what I was referring briefly to with the fifth house energy, which is to say that maybe there's some kind of creative project that you guys are working on behind the scenes that you're keeping under wraps at this time. You're not ready to reveal it to others just yet. But if not that too, it could also just be saying that you're, at least in the back of your mind, you're trying to think of creative ways to build out your finances. All right, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Wands. So more Sagittarius energy here. And yeah, to see this, I feel like this is saying things will be moving rather quickly for you guys this month, right? Like we said, part of it's going to be, at the very least, it appears having that Mars energy in your sign for most of the month, but also some of it could be karmically, where, like we said, things could be coming back around from the past with that Mercury retrograde energy building up in your house of communication. But either way, it looks like there's going to be some fast progress for you guys this month. All right, so lastly, we'll pull an oracle card and see what it adds to the mix. So I'm just going to give this a few shuffles, then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. All right, we'll take this card, get this out of the way, and we'll see what messages you got. All right, we have Loyal Heart. There's the artwork, and the number is 35. So we'll see what this has to say. All right, essential meanings says fidelity, loyalty, devotion. The oracle's message: evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. Others will prove that they are faithful to you, and you will in turn commit fully to them. There is a sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that Spirit is always loyal to you. No matter the outer circumstances in your life, trust and have faith, for you are eternally loved, always divinely protected, and divinely directed. So yeah, definitely a strong message there, especially when it comes to, like I said, with friendships and groups. It looks like there's going to be a nice, open, free-flowing energy between you and others. Like we said with the 7th house, it looks like there's an energy of building. So definitely some good energy there. The relationship message says your partnerships, friendships, and romantic relationships all have many qualities in common right now. Honest devotion, faithfulness, and a loyal heart are being shown to you. Are you as loyal in return? Now is the time for heartfelt commitments and trusting in divine protection. So yeah, definitely another strong message there as well. And that could point to what we were saying again with the Three of Pentacles, which usually is a long-standing, sturdy type of energy. And the prosperity message says your long-term loyalty to your goals is becoming evident in the world of conditions where your aspirations for success assume form in reality. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams, faithful to your plans while remaining flexible and devoted to serving others, you will be shown proof of your true prosperity. This is a time for a joyful celebration of spirit, your manifesting partner. So yeah, so some of that could be part of what we were seeing with the 5th house, right, where we talked about you planting seeds, right, and maybe knowing that, okay, you're not going to see the immediate results, but you also see what they might have already grown in the background there, right? So it could just be one of those things saying that the work you're putting in, you're starting to see tangible signs of it paying off this month. But yeah, hopefully that resonated with you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.